What's up everyone? Welcome to my first full-fledged Holy Paladin guide for Shadowlands. This will be a guide for my playstyle of Holy Paladin and Mythic Plus and the upcoming raid Castle Nathri. This guide is primarily for the 90% of Warcraft players who, like me, they like to push mid to high keys and are in guilds raiding heroics and who find themselves pugging a little bit more often than they would like to admit. My Holy Paladin build allows me to do several things. 1. Be the savior of many a failed mechanic and miss interrupts. 2. I can sit back, watch, and learn fights all while avoiding cleaves and anti-melee AoE mechanics. And 3. I hardly use no mana whatsoever. On this guide, I will go over the melee versus range build, stat priorities, rotations, cooldowns, defensives, utilities, talents, legendary gearing, covenant choices, soulbound choices, and conduits. Let's begin. This expansion seems to favor a ranged caster build playstyle due to most of the new dungeons and the upcoming raid having an extreme amount of anti-melee cleave mechanics that can one-shot you the healer and some ranged if you or they get caught up in it. So primarily the ranged build is specifically going with the level 15 talent Bestow Faith instead of Crusader's Might, as well as the level 45 talent Awakening versus the traditional Sanctified Wrath or Avenging Crusader. I'll talk more about talents later. Lastly, due to the way Holy Paladin's mastery works, the closer you are to your heal target, the more it heals, you and I still have to be somewhat close to the group, but not exactly in melee range. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's start with stat priorities and rotation. In writing this, I'm going to assume that you are going the ranged caster build. So in Mythic Plus and Rage, you're going to want haste, mastery, versatility. With this expansion so new and numbers not being final, that's what I'm going with. Not only do I heal, but I also tank with my paladin. So going for one set of gear, it makes gearing up wicked easy, and in the past has allowed me to time 15s with ease in both healing and tanking. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about my rotation. First and foremost, remember to always have Beacon of Light on your tank. There are several useful weak auras out there that will help remind you of that. Your rotation is going to vary from pool to pool, tank to tank, and group to group. But for the most part, there are several commonalities that will happen. For starters, begin to throw out Bestow Faith and Holy Shock onto your tank, and then your party members' priority being tank, melee, ranged, yourself. This is of course taken into effect that you're running with the level 50 talent Glimmer of Light. I always assume every big pull will go wrong, so I always get Holy Power banked up and ready to roll. To do this, I Holy Shock on cooldown on priority, Bestow Faith onto the tank or a more injured party member. So there we have Holy Shock, Bestow Faith being used on cooldown. Usually by then we'll have a juicy infusion proc and we'll throw out a couple flash of lights onto your beacon target, again probably your tank, to get you up to 5 Holy Power. So in the pull right there, we should have Glimmers out, Beacons out, Bestow Faith about to pop, and 4 to 5 Holy Power bank. Then I'll start a slow cast of Holy Light onto the tank and repeat it until someone is injured and needs a Word of Glory. Use Word of Glory, Holy Shock, Bestow Faith, Flash of Light, get back to 4 to 5 Holy Power, banked, back up and ready to roll again. So in summary, the rotation goes Beacon out, Glimmers out, Bestow Faith out, getting ready to pop on someone, giving Holy Power, some Flash of Lights onto your beacon target, have 4 to 5 banked Holy Power, a slow cast of Holy Light onto your tank, Word of Glory used frequently. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So incoming damage is greater than what your normal healing rotation can handle? No problem. Time to pop some cooldowns. Let's go. My top 3 cooldowns: Divine Toll, Avenging Wrath, and Blessing of Sacrifice. Divine Toll is number 1 here due to its awesome healing ability and its triple cohesiveness with the conduit Ring of Clarity, the craftable legendary Shock Barrier, and the level 50 talent Glimmer of Light. There really isn't any other covenant that matches that low of healing in my opinion. When using the legendary Shock Barrier, I tend to pop Divine Toll when most party members are around the 30% health mark to make full use of the Absorb Shield proc that absorbs incoming damage that is equal to the amount healed with Holy Shock. Basically, bigger the Holy Shock, bigger the shield. Couple that with using the Ring and Clarity conduit that gives a great chance for 3 extra Divine Tolls on the heal target, and it only has a 1 minute cooldown. This makes this ability the number 1 cooldown ever. In a big pull and the tank has zero mitigation left for themselves? You notice his health bar dropping too fast? Well, it's time for a blessing of sacrifice. Just make sure you have glimmer on both you and your target and your finger on the divine shield or divine protection button just in case. Blessing of Sacrifice is one of the great cooldown utilities that just set the Holy Paladin apart from other healers. This having a 2-minute cooldown makes this a must-have on your bar that can probably be used every other pull. Last but not least is Avenging Wrath or Wings. This 2-minute cooldown is our hallmark bread and butter cooldown that gives us increased healing and critical strike chance by 30% for 20 seconds. Pop wings, tell your tank to go ham and get ready to roll. Holy Paladins have 3 huge cooldowns that when timed right can be used in conjunction from pack to pack or pull to pull, with each one perhaps coming off cooldown almost every other pull. Let's take a look at some defensives and utilities. The Holy Paladin's defensives and utilities is what separates the men from the boys. 2 huge defensives at your disposal are Divine Protection and Divine Shield. Divine Protection is a 20% flat damage reduction cooldown of only 60 seconds that is awesome and times very well with our Blessing of Sacrifice when your tank is taking way too much damage. Divine Shield grants you complete immunity to all damage and harmful effects for 8 seconds and has a 5-minute cooldown. This is your get out of jail for free card for those move or die mechanics that you messed up on. Blessing of Protection is one of the great defensives that makes the target immune to all physical damage for 10 seconds. It can be used to drop bleeds and cheese boss mechanics like Razan from Ataldazar. I am quite sure it will be used for some mechanics in the upcoming raid Castle Nathria as well. Lastly, we have Blessing of Freedom. This ability removes any movement impairing effects from the target and only has a 25-second cooldown. Time for the talents. The talents listed make this range caster build work so well. Starting off with the level 15 talent row, we go with Bestow Faith. Its ability to heal, generate holy power, be super mana efficient, and have a 40-yard range is what turns a normally melee Holy Paladin into the quasi-ranged caster Paladin. We choose the level 25 talent Saved by the Light simply due to its ability to once per minute save a tank by giving it a big fat absorb shield when they drop below 30%. This is done once per minute and is free of cost. Divine Purposes in the level 40 talent row is just too good. It has a 15% chance to make your next holy power ability, probably Word of Glory, free and deal 20% increased healing. But it seems to proc a heck of a lot more than that. Vision of Perfection is back. Well, kind of. With the Talent Awakening in the level 45 talent row, it kinda is. The Talent Awakening gives our Word of Glory or Light of Dawn a 15% chance to grant Avenging Wrath for 10 seconds. Couple this with Divine Purpose and it goes off tons. Lastly, in the level 50 row, we go with Glimmer. It is just too good and normally adds roughly 10% to our healing. For a set and forget it that is just too good to pass up. Couple that with the curing ability Divine Toll, the legendary Shock Barrier, and the Conduit Ring and Clarity, the triple bang for your buck is just way too good to pass. Let's take a look at legendaries and my Covenant choice. I do these guides and videos based on personal experiences with what seemed to work best. During the beta, I only had access to Mythic Plus Dungeons and never the raid. So the legendary I'm going with personally and going to craft at the beginning will be Shock Barrier. The Shock Barrier legendary protects the target with the Shield of Holy Light for 18 seconds, absorbing damage every 6 seconds. Bigger the heal, bigger the shield. Protects up to 5 targets, which is perfect for Mythic Plus. This can only be crafted on legs and feet. Personally, I would craft them on legs due to you getting more base stats on legs over the feet. This legendary just works so well with this build. The cohesiveness with the talents, abilities, covenants, conduits, it all just makes sense. I personally feel it will be quite viable in raiding as well. On to the covenants. You are free to choose any covenant you want. I mean, really, this guide is written for the Mythic 15 heroic raiding semi-casual crowd. You could probably do all of that with any covenant, and rightfully so. Personally, for me, I chose a covenant who has ability that works in tangent with my own build, my talents, the legendaries, and all of the conduits available. For me, that is the Curing Covenant. Not only do their powers just make sense for Holy Paladins, but their transmogs, their class mounts, the Soulbinds, the whole experience and feel of their zone. I mean, it even says this about them. The Curians are eternal beings who draw only the most accomplished, principled, and pure into their ranks. I mean, come on, if that doesn't scream Paladins, I don't know what does. Did I mention their transmogs? They look awesome. Let's hit up the Soulbinds. Right now, this early in the expansion, it really doesn't matter which Soulbind you go with. You can either get a small mastery buff every minute or a free heal every minute onto a party member below 50%. Each of those are kind of whatever. And as of things stand right now, and if things don't change in a few months when we are renowned 40, I think the choice will be Clea. Her benefits, in my opinion, are just a bit tops over the other two. In this decision, it really doesn't matter since all Soulbinds have the same amount of potency conduits. And that is what really makes the Soulbinds attractive, these conduits. Let's take a look at some of the best ones. The only ones I'm going to go over here will be the potency conduits. These are the real deal. These are the big kahunas. These add to your power vastly in awesome ways. Again, this is from personal experience with Mythic Dungeons. When the raid opens, perhaps another guide will have to be written. First up is the Ring and Clarity conduit. Ring and Clarity makes it so that Divine Toll has a certain percent chance to cast 3 extra times on the main target. Higher the eye level of the conduit makes it higher the percentage chance. For example, the lowest eye level conduit 145 has a 40% chance, and a 184 eye level has a 52% chance. This conduit just adds to the raw power of the build. Casting Divine Toll, probably on your tank, when your entire party is at 30%, and this conduit kicks in and brings back your party back near to full health, it just feels so damn good. It's akin to a mass lay on hands almost. Really it is. Every minute you can do this. Second conduit is Focus Light. Focus Light increases the critical effect chance of Holy Shock by a certain percentage. Again, the percentage chance is related to the conduit eye level. For example, a 184 eye level increases the Holy Shock percent chance by 6.5%. So Holy Shock crit chance would be 36.5 base with no personal crit stat added. Very good indeed. Maybe in the future, a high crit Infusion Light legendary build might be in the works. So that's it for now. That is what I'll be running and doing this expansion. As things turn and change and progress, we'll see what's in store for Holy Paladins. As it is right now, we are in a decent spot. Once people get over the shock of the Holy Power Builder-Spender rotation, they will find it easy to use and fun to play. Holy Paladins, in my opinion, are always going to be viable for any content and will be able to exceed and thrive in any higher content as time goes on. If you made it to the end of this video, I want to say thank you for sticking around and watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment, a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button to be notified whenever I release a new video. So that's it for now. Let's get to them keys, let's get to them raid, and get that big fat best in slot loot. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and happy gaming.